just tell me a little bit about using the canola with the pumpkins? Just, I don't know, what you've been trialing on your farm, I guess.
Well, with the canola pumpkin research trial, the premise was that the planting of the canola, and once it gets up so high, will be rolled, crimped, and supposedly in an ideal world will be killed off, and then plant the pumpkins, and that would suppress any weed growth, and you'd have a weed-free pumpkin patch. And the key is trying to find the ideal time and the ideal conditions to crimp the canola, which we haven't been able to do here in the last couple of years. So there's still some work to do on that. And parts of it have been successful, but other parts not so successful. And I guess with the growing conditions of kind of the control planting, that's kind of a traditional way we've been doing it for a number of years with a ridge with lots of compost and cultivating right up until the canopy fills out has actually worked pretty well. And
I guess your general impressions of this organic system?
I think it has a lot of merit, and except I tried it in my squash, and that this year wasn't a real good trial for that either. That the canola kind of went crazy within the row. I didn't get all that out as soon as we should have, and with the weather and the rains and everything, it's been kind of crazy to get at at whatever that ideal time is. That's always kind of a problem. But I guess it's been kind of fun, and it has worked within the rows or between the rows of the squash I planted. I disked those down, and that had pretty effective control, and that's pretty clean. But it didn't get at the handwork or the trimming around the plants. And then once they vine out, start canopying out quite a bit, it's kind of a challenge to get the canola without messing up the other vine crops. So
Yeah. You kind of went over some of the challenges of the system, but what big challenges are there, do you think, with the system?
I think the biggest problem is just with the way weather would cooperate, and you get the right growth stage to get the canola crimped down so that it does die in place and leave a lot of cover on the soil would be ideal. And I've seen that in places, but it'd be nice to have that on the entire planting. And
what are the benefits, do you think, of the system?
well, just like you don't have the weed competition, and you don't have the weed seeds. The canola, it's gone to seed in some places, and that's relatively easy to take care of. Once it reseeds, the next year you have some rogue canola. That's I'd rather have the canola there than some of the other weeds that leave off thousands and thousands of seeds, and that enter in there. The canola is fairly tame and fairly controllable for the subsequent years on that, so it's not as wild as the weeds, and not as aggressive, I guess, on that. So.
Okay. How much work compared to a conventional system do you think is this system, the organic system?
This year, probably a little bit more, and I don't know exactly what, because ideally, if we would have gotten, been able to get in on ideal, or at the time before the canopy went, by probably half again as much labor involved with the canola. But then, this year and last year, I think I've had better than what the last few years have been, whether it's just working better or whatever it is. But it's we don't have a lot of weed growth in there. So really nice, kind of the control of the non-canola, and the canola ones. There's just a lot of canola
you adopt the system on your farm after the trial is done?
I think in parts I will. It has some merit, and even we can find that ideal time and the weather conditions, and we had rains to deal with, and all different kinds of things this year that hasn't worked, and we've gone through and we crimped it, and I think I followed up twice with mowing, and even mowing real short. That still has enabled the canola to keep growing or to regrow, which if we wouldn't had as much rain as we would have, I think it would have been a lot more successful. So it's kind of it's anybody's guess sometimes at what the conditions are, but I think it has a lot of merit, and seeing it where it works, and if we can do that on a larger basis, it'll be kind of nice, and it's pretty user friendly for the most part. It's easy to seed and that, but just I think it's getting that crucial timing for the rolling, crimping,
Right.
to get it down. So.
Right. Those are all the questions I have for you. Is there anything that you'd like to add?
Not really.
No? Okay. All right. We're done.